Now this is a studio worthy of our biggest show of the year. This is Inside Xbox at E3. Today, Inside Xbox is coming to you live from the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles, California, and we've got 2 hours of E3 coverage straight from the heart of the Xbox showcase. Yesterday, on this very stage, we showed 50 games, revealed 18 exclusives, announced 5 new Microsoft studios, and unveiled 15 world premieres. Wait, did I say 15? Because we're about to make it 16. We'll talk about what's coming up on today's show in a minute, but some things can't wait. Right now, we're going to debut the latest from Bohemia Interactive, the developers of DayZ. Here is the trailer for Vigor.
We're joined now by Lucas and Dana from Bohemia Interactive, the talent behind am01 DayZ that helped put the online survival genre on the map. Thank you both.
Thank you
for coming up and joining us.
So exciting to be here.
Welcome to our E3 Inside Xbox. This is a pretty cool setup, right?
Thank you. It is.
It is.
It's exciting.
Great, and thank you for bringing that amazing trailer as well. That is a world exclusive. It's never been seen before.
Yeah.
You've come here
That's
just
true.
to debut that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, what did we just see? That was incredible. But tell us more about what we just saw there in Vigor.
What you just saw is our newest project, and we're excited to show it to the world. The game is set in Norway because nuclear bomb hit Europe, so Central Europe is destroyed, and Scandinavia is the fallout plan for the people, for the rest of the guys. And players take place as a nameless outlander, trying to survive and going into encounters. So you have your shelter, which is your base of progression and persistence. That's what you can expect from the game. You will set up a loadout there and go into encounter, and then you just gather resources, gather materials to grow stronger and to be the best in the world.
Whoa, okay.
So we've actually got gameplay
Yes.
right now. We saw the trailer, but we can actually take a look at it live in action. Why don't you both walk us through what we're seeing on screen?
Yeah, now you can see basic encounter that some of the players met each other, and the game is heavily based on uncertainty, which means that you don't know if there are any other people in the map. You know that you start with 12, for example.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you don't know if you
never know how many are left. So.
Yeah.
And is it 12 other players within the same area as you?
Yeah.
So I'm getting Battle Royale vibes, but I'm also getting real survival
Not
vibes
really.
as
That's
well.
the thing.
Okay.
Because
Vigor is like genre on its own, because when you enter the encounter, you can leave it anytime you want.
Okay.
Like, there are exit points on the map, and if you just don't feel like it, and you have your bag full of resources and materials, and you don't want to risk it,
Okay.
you can leave.
So you're really looking to scavenge as much as
Yes.
possible.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
That's your main
get out of
objective. That's the thing you do.
So this is kind of true post-apocalyptic survival.
Definitely.
In the
Yeah,
true sense,
definitely,
right?
because this is what you would do if you were there. You would be
See.
trying to gather as much as it's possible and to survive, not to shoot people.
Okay.
Yeah, and as you can see here, this is the base of the shelter where you build improvements to shorten your crafting time for weapons and stuff like that. The other thing is that if you risk everything in the encounter, you will lose it. You
Right.
will lose everything. So that's why you need to gather resources and hoard the weapons. You need like thousands of them, so you don't care about it anymore. You don't care about dying, because at the beginning it will be really hard.
Now, I heard
Okay.
you mention crafting, and then I think I saw a pretty in-depth,
Yeah.
what looked like a progression tree of stuff.
Yeah, that was.
How crucial is that going to be to survival in this game?
Well, it's one of the main things to keep you in the game, you know. So imagine that you gather some resources, you will get your first improvement, then the first improvement will generate the materials for you, the materials you need for crafting. Then you need to get blueprints for the weapons, because
You don't know how to put together a weapon, like
Right.
yeah, exactly. And the blueprint is actually really crucial thing. One thing is that you can get it from an airdrop, which is the big highest reward that you can find in the map. And the other thing is that you can deconstruct the weapons and get a blueprint. But every time you deconstruct the weapon, that doesn't mean you will get a different part. So you can get like 2 parts of the first thing of blueprint. So that goes way long time.
All right. I'm looking at these environments here. Tell us about why you chose Norway, and Norway's right at the top of Northern Europe.
Yeah.
What does that kind of landscape and that geography mean for the game?
Yeah. It's kind of lot with the backstory that I want to reveal right now.
Okay.
So let me just say that imagine that the Central Europe is totally wasted and damaged.
Yeah.
And what would people do? They would go up or down.
Right.
And we chose north in Norway. So this is the safe space, but people are there and people are fighting over the resources though.
Got it.
So this is my answer for now. I don't want to
Nice.
reveal too much.
Well, the nuclear weapon certainly hasn't ruined the views in Norway, has it?
That's
No,
true.
no, no, no.
It
Amazing.
still look gorgeous, absolutely.
Yeah, because
Tell us about
Yeah,
multiplayer.
nature is incredible.
Sorry, Dana, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. You can
Tell us about multiplayer and cooperative. I really want to understand like how you can play this on your own, or can you band together with other players? Is it PvP, PvE?
it's straight up PvP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like every man for himself, but we have some plans for team play and stuff like that. But I don't want to talk about it right now.
Fine.
The thing is that you can actually win the game or the encounter without the weapon.
Yeah,
Because-
this is my favorite
Yeah.
part about the game, because this is my strategy for pretty much the whole time
Right.
and bigger. Yeah.
Cool. So you can play. I'm guessing you can play quite aggressively.
Yeah,
Or
you
you
can.
can.
Yeah,
to
I
your
would
point,
be the
you can
opposite.
kind of.
I'm getting out. Get in, get out. Like, I feel like in this
Yeah.
sort of game, stealth might be my option.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's the thing. Like, if I've got a whole backpack filled with things, I'm out. I'm not gonna get myself killed.
Right.
Yeah, because if you get yourself killed, you lose everything.
Right.
You will just get some materials, you know.
Now, when
And
you say
that's
you
it.
lose everything, do you lose everything that's on your person and everything back at your base is still?
No.
No.
Base is fine.
Okay.
Shelter
Yeah.
is fine.
Okay.
Definitely. But if you have your loadout full, like 2 main weapons, 2 secondary weapons, you will lose them, and you will lose everything that is in your bag. So that's why the hoarding thing.
Right. And I'm guessing like player progression plays into that as
Yes.
well, right? The
Yeah.
more
Yes.
you scavenge, the more you hoard, the more you level up your player. Is it that kind of angle?
No, you will level up the shelter.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Ah, that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes absolute
The more
sense.
stuff you get, the more you, the better you can be when you're out in this world trying to survive, right?
Yep. Definitely.
Great.
This
How
will be
about
great.
that?
I cannot wait to play.
Looks amazing, doesn't it?
It's a ton of fun. I'm telling you right now, I'm getting in and I'm getting out. I'm getting out.
That surprises me about you. I thought you would be guns blazing.
Unless I had my, everything, my shelter is all taken care of and leveled up and I've got the right blueprints in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be very careful.
That's good approach.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, thank you so much both for joining us. We really appreciate it. It was great to have you on the show.
Yeah, wonderful.
Now,
Thank you
if you're
so much.
watching us on Mixer today, be sure to log in with your Microsoft account so you can score a couple of Mixpot goodies. That means free items for World of Tanks and Trove.
Nice. And believe it or not, we're going to up the number of world premieres from 16 to 17 later in the show with new gameplay from Outer Wilds. And that is just the beginning.
Let's send it on over to Jeff and Larry. It's time to set the table for the rest of the show. What's on the menu, fellas?
Today's show is packed. We've got so many great games and interviews lined up. Phil Spencer is on hand to shed some more light on the new talent joining Microsoft Studios. And Rod Ferguson, he's stopping by before his afternoon mantini to talk about not one, not two, 3 Gears games.
3 Gears games. We're also going to talk seasons in Forza Horizon 4 and start driving on the wrong side of the road. Thank you, Grant.
Or is it the right side?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know.
Plus, The Wasteland, it's going online. We'll talk to Pete Hines from Bethesda's Fallout Bombshell.
Then we're going to go in depth on Battlefield 5's new Grand Operations multiplayer mode. Who wants to hitch up artillery up to the back of a Jeep?
I do.
No, I've seen you drive. You can be the artillery. I'll drive. Thank you.
That's going to be great. And later, we'll have the very first gameplay for Outer Wilds, the bespoke interstellar exploration game. Pretty excited about that.
Not as excited as I am. That's just a handful of the goodies we've got in store. But first, don't forget the biggest Xbox sale of the year going on right now.
This includes the very first discounts on Xbox One X, world's most powerful console, massive game sales on the Microsoft Store, 10% off a wide variety of controllers, and much, much more. Head to Xbox.com for all the details.
All right, let's talk. More awesome.
Woo!
Gears 5, let's go.
Something's happening to me. For months now, I've been having these dreams. Nightmares. But I think they were messages.
It's your grandmother's? There's a place up north. I think we can find you answers there.
Where are we going?
Back to where it all began.
Are we the hunters?
I need to know the truth.
Or are we the prey?
She'd never be our enemy by choice. I know that. But what if it's not her choice? The necklace? That's a locust symbol.
I want it out of my head. I want it to stop.
Katie,
Mom!
cut me close, please. This is why game of survival.
Yep, I love E3 because of all the games and all that, but I love it more because I get to spend time with Rod Ferguson from the Coalition. How are you, mate?
How are you?
Wonderful to see you, as always.
You too. Lovely shirt.
Thank you. Yeah, look at us.
I know.
We're like
Looks Wonder
twinsies.
Twins activate.
That's good.
But you got to be form of water. I want to be the animal one. You got to be the pail of water that gets pulled around all the time.
Very good. All right. Hey, congratulations on the show and on stage yesterday.
Thank you.
Amazing moment for Gears. Not one Gears game, but
No.
3.
Yeah, overachievers. We're Coalition are overachievers. We're like, anybody can do one announce. Let's do
Totally.
3 announces.
No, that was fantastic. Great moment on the stage back there. Let's start with the third game you announced, right? Gears 5.
Okay.
Talk to us about the world of Gears 5, and I would love to know more about Kate. Is she actually the protagonist of Gears 5?
She is, yeah.
Okay.
Kate is the main protagonist for the game, and basically, it was just a natural when you play through Gears 4, you know, I think of it as sort of what you think of with Mad Max Fury Road. You know, it was like really, it was Furiosa's story, but Mad Max, like Max was the sort of the sidekick in that story, even though it was called Mad Max. And it kind of felt that way when you look at Kate. The whole game is about saving Kate's mom, and really JD is there to help her. And so when we talked about doing the next game, it was really made sense that Kate should actually step in, and you should play as her as she continues this journey of discovery about, like, why do I have this connection to the Locust, what's going on, and what's happening to me right now. And so we really wanted you to put the player sort of in the driver's seat.
And we saw Kate traversing these amazing, like, frozen wastelands.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the world that she's venturing out into and where she's maybe going a little bit.
Yeah, well, for us, it was all about having the biggest and most beautiful world we've ever made. And that the reason we did that in the trailer was really just to show an example of some of the variety. You know, like, Gears games have always been sort of road movies in the sense you're always on a journey from A to B. And the same is pretty true for 5, but we want to show, like, the variety from a, you know, jungle cenote to a frozen tundra to this sort of the red desert, like all these different locations, and getting to visit some of the past too. Some fans have already picked up on a few sort of Easter eggs in our trailer about some places you might go, and
nice.
Really excited to take the fans there.
And what about this skiff, this, like, across the frozen lake? Is that something you'll be able to use freely through the game? Or?
Well, yeah, it's not like the, you know, way we used to have the tank and Gears 2 and that kind of stuff. It's not meant to be just like, oh, you're driving down a hallway essentially. Like, the thing about the skiff is that trying to open up the world and give you more choice of what you can do. And so the nice thing with the skiff being a wind, you know, wind is kind of our thing now with the wind flares and storms, and so we wanted to have a wind-powered vehicle that can go across different types of, and so you'll be able to take that skiff across the desert, you'll be able to take that skiff across the tundra, and so there's a lot of places you can go. It's great.
Excellent. Now I want to talk about the scene that we were just saw on screen a minute ago that you showed on stage yesterday. This amazing emotional scene. Tell me about the way you approach motion capture and the way that you direct those scenes and the voice acting, everything, because it's next level stuff.
Well, thanks. Well, but it's new for us. You know, traditionally we've always separated the two. We've always put motion capture has been separate from voice acting. But this time we wanted to take it up a notch, and we wanted to actually do performance capture. And so we found like 4 or 5 scenes that we felt were critical to the game to have that sort of next level. And that was one of them, what Kate reveals that she has a secret about the Locust. And so what you're seeing now is this is Laura Bailey as cool. Kate. And so we just wanted to do a little bit of side by side about how that we get that kind of performance out of our actors. And it allows you to kind of really feel like the dialogue and the body motion is so in sync, and you really get that emotion to come out of it. And that's Greg Mitchell, who's our Cinemax director, who's fantastic. But there's kind of things like when trying to do that kind of collision where 2 bodies come together, like to animate that separately, or to, you know, like the fact that it worked in the moment where you've got both the voice performance and the motion performance together makes those things really, you know, sing from a. And so I'm really excited. I mean, a lot of games have been doing, you know, PCAP and a lot of movies and stuff, but it's brand new for us, and I think you can see the results in our trailer.
Absolutely, and I spotted you in the studio there as well. You take quite a hands-on approach with this side of the development of the game, right? Yeah,
it's kind of one of my passions. You know, I'm very involved in the story, so I'll edit all the scripts, and I'm working with, you know, Tom Bissell's our writer, the New York Times bestselling writer, and so I work with him and edit the scripts, and then I'll go and direct the VO, like when we do them separately, and then on the mocap stage, like Greg is, you know, he's really good at that. I don't want to get into it, like, but I work with him on that, and I make sure that the dialogue performance is what I'm looking for, or the way that they're saying the lines are what I want. But he's really good at, like, hey, I'm blocking for this shot, or I want this kind of view, and that's not my world. I don't think in terms of like what's inside the frame. I think about what am I hearing, and am I getting the emotion across, and so we work together that way.
All right, what are you hearing from the Gears fans from the reveal yesterday, and when can they expect to see some more?
So the first part of that, it's been amazing. Like, Twitter blew up for me, and you know, Reset Era, we went onto the thread there, and I was up till 3 this morning reading their 600 posts, you know, and it's been fantastic. Like, people are really supportive, and they understand what we're trying to do. You know, with Gears 4, we're really about establishing ourselves as a studio, you know, and like, okay, we only had 3 people who had ever made a Gears of War game before, so we're like, let's build a foundation, and let's prove that we can make a Gears game, and we did that with 4. And so now we're like, okay, you know, what I call the commander's intent, like our vision statement, our mission statement for Gears 5 was challenge expectations, and so what can we do? And so we looked at it from a story perspective, at a gameplay mechanics perspective, from an art perspective, like how can we challenge? And so people are like, we're showing bits and pieces of it, and people are really getting that. They're saying like, oh, they're actually trying riskier things.
Great, great. And Gears Tactics was a big surprise yesterday as well, right? Tell us the direction there.
Yeah, it's been something that's been going on in the franchise, sort of bubbling underneath the surface for a long time. This idea, even when I was back at Epic, we had ideas around this idea of this sort of top-down isometric. Because what's really interesting when you see Gears Tactics, it's actually like a concentrated essence of Gears. Like the things you think like cover and tactics and squad dynamics, like it's actually more Gears than Gears in a way, you know what I mean? And so I'm so happy we're able to do that now. And that was one of the things, you know, when as a creator, as a world builder, you go, what are the things that are stopping fans from getting into that world? And so you look at what are the barriers we can take away. And the obvious one is just platform. Like, okay, if everything's on console, then only certain people are going to get to play it, which is great. We love our console audience, we love our console game, but it's like we want to broaden that. And how can we make it more approachable to more people? And so we go to mobile with Pop, and we go to PC with Tactics, and it's really just trying to be inclusive and trying to just make it, you know, open it up to the rest of the world.
Yeah, Gears Pop was possibly the funnest moment of the briefing yesterday.
Right.
Where did that come from?
It really, the idea of like, hey, let's do a mobile game really came from the publishing team. They were really like very passionate about, hey, we think this is something that's really cool. But one of the things we were talking about is like, what style should we use? Like, what's the art style? What kind of way? And as we were thinking about it, I'm looking down at my desk, and there's my Funko Pop of Kate on my desk, and I'm like, you know, like they've already established an art style for Gears that works really well. It feels authentic. And so that's a big thing for us, is that we didn't want to be, oh, let's do a licensed match 3 game, or let's do this thing that just feels cheap. We wanted to create actual authentic, you know, experiences, whether it's on mobile or PC or console. We want these things to feel like they belong on that platform. And so Gears Pop is very much a solid mobile game that you would play whether it had a Gears brand on it or not. Like, it's just a great game, and I love it. And we're working with great partners on those 2 games in terms of, like, obviously Coalition can't build 3 games at the same time, so we're working with great dev partners. And yeah, I'm just really excited. Like, I'm already playing on my phone, and it's just fantastic.
Nice. Will you show me afterwards?
Oh, sure.
I can't wait to see it. Rod, always a pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for coming. Congrats on the reveals yesterday.
Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Yesterday, legendary writer Chris Avallone was here to reveal Dying Light 2, where every decision you make changes the world around you in some unexpected ways. But one thing that didn't change, there's still plenty of parkour and first-person melee combat. Let's send it over to Ricari for more.
I'm here now with Timon from Techland. Timon, how is Dying Light 2 evolving the parkour system?
Well, so since Dying Light 2 is a bold sequel to the original game, we are expanding upon each element of the game, and that goes for the parkour itself. Our natural movement system got improvements in code and animation, but what is the most important is that we have doubled the number of parkour moves. So you can basically go everywhere in the city, and you will need to adapt to the environment because it's constantly changing. And that actually puts a lot of effort on your side, and you will have to be fluid about it, and you will have to zip through the city when you master the moves.
Double the amount of moves. That's mighty impressive. Okay, so we saw and heard and felt that nasty thud with the wrench, right?
Yeah, it was powerful.
You guys aren't pulling any punches at all. What can you tell me about other combat changes or the combat system in Dying Light 2?
So again, combat system has changed as well, and we have added new layers of depth to it. And now you will have to combine your skills. You will have to use parkour attacks. You will see things in the environment you will be able to use to attack your enemies, and you will also be able to craft your weapons to be even more powerful. And you have to constantly be looking at your opponents, looking what they do, looking at their behaviors, and react to them. So it's way more tactical, way deeper than in the first game.
Well, I absolutely cannot wait to play. Timon, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks. All right, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is an Xbox game preview, and the game is constantly evolving with new maps, new updates, and all the dress shoes you can handle. Yesterday, after the Xbox briefing, Larry got to talk with Taysok, executive producer at PUBG Corp, about what's coming to the game, including that mysterious icy reveal.
I'm here with Taysok, who's the executive producer for PUBG Corp. Taysok, I want to talk to you about the brand new trailer that we debuted at the E3 briefing. Really exciting. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you about your role. Tell us about your role at PUBG Corp.
안녕하세요. 저는 PUBG.
Hello, I am Taesok Chang. I am the PED at PUBG Corp. I work closely with our entire team of developers across our offices in Seoul, Wisconsin, and Amsterdam. From the early stages of development of new content to live testing and final launch, I'm there at every step along the way.
We debuted a brand new trailer during the Xbox briefing that is coming soon to PC and Xbox One. Sandhook, tell us about what goes into designing a new map for PUBG.
So PUBG has very serious as well as realistic gunplay mechanism, and we wanted to really leverage this on a new map. We wanted to give a new visual experience to our users through the Sanhok map, and also because it is a smaller map, we wanted the users to engage in more quick and intense gunfights and battles in this map.
We saw a sneak peek of a snow-covered map during the E3 briefing at the very end of the trailer. What can you tell us about that? Because snow could really change gameplay in PUBG.
Well, I don't want to give too much away too early, but I can say that when you think about a snow map, we want to bring some new gameplay experiences that you could probably associate with a snow-covered map.
Now, I have to ask, I'm a huge PUBG player, and we saw a ballistic shield. Can you tell us, how is that going to work? Is that going to be your secondary weapon, or where does that fit in?
The ballistic shield is an item that can change the way you play the game in PUBG. And this could provide quick cover in close combat situations and also protect the player against explosives. And when you're collaborating with your team members, one of you can use the shield and the rest of the members can stack up behind the shield and then engage in battle that way.
The game is still in game preview on Xbox. I want to talk about what are the team's priorities right now. Bug fixes, adding new features. Tell me what's going on there.
So for us, pushing out new contents for our Xbox community is very important, but at the same time, we understand that having an optimized and stabilized build and fixing bugs is also very important. So we have separate teams in PUBG Corp who work on these two different aspects to improve the game overall.
Taesik, I just want to take a moment and thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Down the barrel of decisions I don't want to make. I'm a runaway gunner and I'm staring down the barrel of decisions that I want to.
Do you realize the tragedy you have unleashed?
I know that it's not practical. I know that it's hard to believe. You need to trust me.
The briefing, 10 out of 10. My gosh.
So I am just almost speechless about being here.
I feel like the Xbox team heard our cries. Games, games, games. That was the theme. And we got overloaded with them, and that was great.
It was mind-blowing.
So I'm still like a little shooken up out of excitement.
I finally know what that hype is about, man. It was intense the entire time.
The bass was just shaking everything. It was very exciting.
Xbox, #1 all the way.
Me and my buddy looked at each other like they did it.
You start off with Halo. When you start off with Halo, you have to end with a bang. And you end it with Cyberpunk, and it just sent the crowd into a frenzy.
Halo Infinity, Battletoads, that's insane, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Jump Force? Like, that blew my mind. Like, what is it?
As soon as it came on the screen and they had Naruto on the top of that building, I was in complete shock.
Bringing a bunch of anime characters together, it looks like a really great fighter, so really looking forward to seeing how that game comes out.
We play Cuphead together, so it's like a true test of our relationship. So we're excited to test it again.
And I'm really excited for Kingdom Hearts, man. I've been waiting for that game for I don't know how many years. That game shaped my childhood, and I'm so excited.
Now
Fire your crumpets and pour yourself a cup of tea, because that's right, Forza Horizon is coming to Britain, and I am so happy to see Edinburgh on the big screen at an Xbox briefing. Ralph, welcome to the stage, and welcome to Microsoft Game Studios as well.
Thanks, man, on both counts. That's really nice of you. Yeah, I thought you would be especially pleased with our reveal yesterday. I worked in Edinburgh for 3 years, so it's kind of like a thrill for me as well.
There you go.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 4 is coming to beautiful, historic Britain, and I'm so thrilled that people are delighted. You know, I've been getting that kind of reaction from lots of people, not necessarily just Brits, but you know, lots of people who are really excited about the location.
Absolutely. I mean, Twitter just lit up yesterday, right? Especially from the Brits. But then I even had people tweeting me saying, "Oh, I've never been to Britain. I've always wanted to go," and now they feel like they're going to get a nice
airfare saved.
Perfect. There you go. All right, we're going to talk about seasons in a little bit, because you know everyone's been talking about that. I want to talk about the shared world, right? Because you previewed some of that on stage yesterday, but this looks so interesting and so important for Forza Horizon going forward, right? So tell us how the shared world of Forza Horizon 4 works.
You're absolutely right. Huge change for this game. I think it's kind of our job to keep moving things forward and doing new things, innovating. Shared world is really a big shift, a big change for Horizon. It comes about because basically one of our pillars is community. We think our game is better played with others.
Absolutely.
And really, this is the game I think which will allow us to bring our massive, creative, fun-loving Horizon community together like we never have done before. So yeah, everyone plays in the same world. Everything is synchronized for all players. So weather, time of day, and seasons, of course, are synchronized for everyone. So you see a rainbow, everyone can see that rainbow. You see the sun go down, everyone can see the sun go down. And I think from shared experiences will come, you know, fantastic gameplay, connections, friendships, that kind of thing.
You could see in Forza Horizon 3 that you were starting to move in that direction. Is this really the culmination of that road you started on there?
And I think we could see it in our players in that game as well. We have a lot of telemetry. We can see how people play the game. We were surprised by how many people played the game. Over 9 million people have played it so far, which is just ludicrous. But also the kind of play sessions they had, the kind of activities they took. Online free roam was super popular in that game. People would go there, and I used to go in and just drive around and find a bunch of drifters in a car park, and you'd leave them and you'd go find some other people down the road. Obviously limited to 12 players in a session there. Many more in Forza Horizon 4 shared world, and therefore just so much more life, so much more excitement, so much spontaneity that I think will come out, and will just make this game really alive and enriching, you know, for many months and years to come.
And the shared world, as we've come to expect from Forza Horizon, just looks incredible. I mean, look at this. I just want to ask about Britain itself. Obviously quite a diverse place.
It is.
Like, what is the reaches of the Britain that you'll be portraying in Horizon 4?
So we have done what we always do, which is to select a location based on, you know, its beauty, its diversity, great driving roads, and then cherry pick the very best, most interesting locations from that overall sort of a location, and then chuck them together into a kind of a collage map that doesn't make a whole lot of geographical sense. We're not Ordnance Survey, we don't hold ourselves out as that sort of thing.
Right.
We're about fun, we're about great open worlds. It's exactly what we did with Australia, and some Australians pointed out some inaccuracies. It's what we've done with Britain, and I have no doubt that some Brits will point out some inaccuracies. But for me, the important thing is we've got the Scottish Highlands, we've got the Welsh Valleys, we've got the Yorkshire Moors, we've got the Lake District, we've got Edinburgh, as you know, Bamburgh Castle, the Cotswolds, just the best bits, the most varied bits of Britain, all stitched together into a map that's a ton of fun to play, a ton of fun to explore, and obviously is perfect for dynamic seasons, which is like just this quintessentially British thing. I know other countries have seasons, there are other climates available, but
I was going to ask you about that. I mean, you know, we obviously both grew up in Britain, in Scotland, so we know all about seasons.
Right, we've had our fair share.
Yeah, I've seen all of them, and there's more than 4 in Aberdeen.
Frequently in the same week.
Absolutely. Tell us how seasons affect Forza Horizon 4 though, like, because this isn't just cosmetic, right? This is real gameplay changing stuff, yeah?
It absolutely is, yeah. So Britain is this really seasonal country. And this world works in all 4 different seasons, and I think for us at Playground, it's been something we've been driving towards, pardon the pun, for multiple games, right? We've tried to do it before. It's always turned out to be like just too hard, too much work. It's a really complicated thing to build a world the size of Forza Horizon 3's Australia 4 different ways. This time we found a way. It married perfectly with this location in Britain, which is, you know, very seasonal. And as you say, it's more than just...
oh, wow. What's happening?
How dynamic.
Oh, the seasons are coming to life right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, it's kind of like yesterday, isn't it? But like with a much lower budget.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Larry, the weatherman. I saw him doing a game show yesterday, and now he's fulfilling his weatherman dreams. Okay,
that's all the weather I have.
Okay, so
anywho,
but it's going to change. It's going to change the actual gameplay of the game, right? New events, new locations.
Yeah,
you can access.
Absolutely. I mean, the one we showed yesterday, and the one that's just like the perfect example of what it means. Is like the lake freezes for 3 seasons of the year. It's a lot of water.
Right.
In winter, it freezes. It allows you access to an island. What do you know? There's a barn found in the island. Like, how did it get there? I'm sure there's a backstory. In summer, water levels generally just get lower. There might be a river that dries up. If you imagine there's a race that follows it in summer, it's a very different proposition from in spring or autumn, when, you know, the rainfall means the water is much higher.
Right.
That's an example of the kind of gameplay differences that you'll get. What's even more exciting, I think, and we're just starting to talk about it this week, is that seasons are the perfect delivery mechanism for us to keep adding new stuff to the game.
Right.
So obviously no 2 seasons are alike, that kind of goes without saying. What we're also saying is that because of our commitment to support this game and evolve it post-launch, no 2 winters will be alike, no 2 springs will be alike. We're going to be able to bring new stuff, whether it's new features, new game modes, new experiences, constantly to the game, and that's kind of this team's commitment, not just to get this game to ship, you know, and produce real quality when we launch in October, but also to continue changing it up and evolving it for months and years to come.
Great. And one thing that got a big reaction when you were presenting yesterday on stage was the mention of 60 frames per second.
I had a feeling it might.
Yeah, that must be an amazing thing for you to finally bring to the game, right?
It totally is. Like, you know, we always talk about our most fan-requested features.
Yeah.
Certainly since we did the Xbox One X enhanced version of Forza Horizon 3 earlier this year, the most fan-requested feature I think I can say is a 60 frames per second option on Xbox One X. That's what we're delivering in this game, so you have the choice between performance and resolution, and ultimately Forza is all about choice. It's all about doing it your way, and we're delighted to give this option to our players.
Fantastic. Ralph, you know I love Forza Horizon. It's so amazing to see it coming to Britain, and particularly my home country of Scotland as well. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for joining us on stage.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, man.
All the best with it this week, mate.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, we've got Fallout 76, Battlefield 5 multiplayer, and the blazing fast combat of Devil May Cry 5. But first, it's time to take a closer look at one of the most interesting announcements during the Xbox briefing, and it wasn't actually a game, but technology that will allow you to play your games faster. Let's send it over to Larry for more on Fast Start.
Downloading games is a major convenience, but waiting for them to install, not so much. Ashley Spiker's here to tell us how that is all going to change very soon. Ashley, great to see you.
Oh, great to be here. Thank you.
Now, you were out here on the stage just yesterday talking about Fast Start. Tell us about that new feature.
So Fast Start is a machine learning backed technology that we invented that optimizes your experience in getting into gameplay by optimizing the download order for the files that you need to start the beginning of the game.
Now, today on Xbox, we have this option where you're installing the game and it gets a little pop-up that says ready to play. This is not that. This is different. This is smarter, better, bigger.
All of those things.
Okay.
Yes, this is not the same thing.
Right.
So the ready to start marker that exists in the user interface today is manually configured by developers at development time.
I see.
Fast Start is machine learned.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens automatically for games without any manual configuration step, and it gets better as the optimization algorithms get better.
Now, everybody loves Game Pass. This feature is not coming just to Game Pass games, right?
No. So we love it for Game Pass games because we want to make it as fast as possible for people to try all of the different games in the library. But it is a platform feature, which means that it's going to be available for most games on the platform over time.
And of course, course, the next question is, when do we get to see it?
So it will be in the June update coming later this month.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much. Stick around because we're going to have more on Game Pass later in the show. This fall, Battlefield 5 brings the series back to World War II and tweaks the formula with the Grand Operations mode. And believe it or not, trailer hitches, those are the key to victory. Let's take a closer look at the multiplayer action, and after that, Benny will sit down with the developers to discuss this epic mode.
I had the pleasure of attending EA Play and doing battle in the new Grand Operations mode for Battlefield 5, and I'm thrilled to be joined now by Andreas and Lars, Mr. Battlefield himself, to talk through multiplayer. So first of all, Operations was in the last game. What's new in Grand Operations?
Absolutely. We really expanded on everything when it comes to Grand Operations. Like I said, it was a big success in Battlefield 1. Now it's bigger, it's better, it's across multiple maps, multiple modes, and you really get to relive some of those World War II power fantasies, like being a paratrooper, jumping out in the middle of the night, trying to kind of get a foothold for the oncoming invasion forces on the next day. So I love it.
Yeah, like it's one of the things. So, because I got to play at EA Play, Airborne, the new mode, it is one of the most exciting things in the world when you're in that plane at the start and you're like, when do I jump? What can players expect of Airborne?
I mean, that tension, standing up in the plane and getting ready, and you have the freedom to jump at any time. So basically, you wait. Should I jump and get kind of sneak up on the enemy, even though they will see you coming down, or do I go in behind enemy lines? So it's those choices, but it's really about going in there and taking out the defenses. Since the more defenses you take out, the easier it will be next day when the main invasion comes. So it's about that power fantasy, and on the defending side, it's about, I mean, we have destruction since a long time in Battlefield, but now we also have fortifications. As a defender, you can start building up not only sandbags, but extra machine guns, installations of stationary weapons to really make sure that you do your uttermost to stop them.
Yeah, so obviously with Grand Operations, it's over multiple days. How are players going to go about winning? What happens if it's a draw over the days and you each win one round? How's it going to work out?
So we're going to lead you on to day 3, which is essentially when you're going to get two giant armies that are kind of well supplied, well rested. They're going to go at each other, and if we can't determine a winner on day 3, we go into what we call final stand, which is really like a sudden death mode. You've been fighting for 4 days, you jumped out of a plane, you're low on ammunition, and you can see your